Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
So we appreciate you guys hanging tight. We know it's been a few weeks. We've just been a little bit under the weather, caught a bug or two. And so we are back now with some new content that has been highly requested, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
One of our last videos, we talked about our move, and part of the move was finding a job in a new city without any friends, contacts, job leads, anything like that. I'm sure that's not everyone's story that's watching this. There's probably a lot of you that are graduates of college. People may have been laid off from work or just trying to figure out what they want to do. That's okay.
Yeah.
But hopefully these tips can help you kind of hone things in and be a little bit more impactful in the job hunt. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Let's do it. Number one, start planning now. So if you are a student, you're graduating from college, maybe you're still in high school, start planning for the future. And what that looks like is checking out your availability. Are you going to be maybe babysitting a little brother or sister? You're not available in the mornings, or are you going to still be in school and you're going to have conflicts with the work schedule? Just make sure that wherever you're planning for as far as work, that if it's retail or corporate, you understand what that scheduling looks like. Background, retail, your hours are going to be all over the place. They're never going to be set. It's just the way it is. And in a corporate setting, an office setting, you will usually have a 9 to 5 and then your weekends available.
Yep, and I think what both of us did is we worked while we were in school. I can't stress the importance of that enough.
Yeah.
If you're graduating college and you have never had a part-time job or anything that you can speak of on a job interview, it's going to be a little bit tougher to find a job. That being said, it's also a really good idea to research the companies that you're looking into. You're probably not going to pick a company and go work for them and it be the first company that you apply to. So you want to pick a lot of companies that you would possibly work at, doing something that you love and that have a good culture.
Check out what benefits they may have. A lot of companies nowadays are very, transparent about the benefits they offer, and it will be on their websites. So you always want to check that out, see if they offer dental and healthcare and things like that so that you're covered.
Yep, they even have pet insurance some places.
Yeah.
So if perks are something that you're looking for, they usually brag about them on the jobs page on their website. So check it out.
Yeah. If you're going into a certain career field, like not just a job to catch some cash on the side, you definitely want to do some internships. And I'm pretty guilty of this myself, but I'm new to the city, so I'm trying. But I want to eventually work for a magazine or a newspaper. And to do that, you want to intern and kind of get your feet wet, as they say, and get into the company and learn their ethics and the way that they do work and the structure of it all. Internships don't always pay. That's the bad news. But they're definitely beneficial in keeping you at the top of your game and make sure that you're the next best candidate when that position does open up that offers pay.
Yep. I was a marketing major, but I didn't do any marketing internships, and I didn't really spend a lot of time doing marketing. So it was a great degree because I think that it feeds into just about everything out there. But
but
I
it's
didn't
never
do any
too late.
internships, and
He could always do one.
I could.
Yeah.
Number 2. You know what it probably is. It's LinkedIn, Career Builder, Monster, Indeed is a really good one. It was really good for me. Snag a job. So there's a couple reasons that you want to be active on these networks. One is that we kind of live in a world of social selling, social everything. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to jobs, most people are getting hired from a friend of a friend that knows about a job that may be available within their company. An endorsement from somebody that works within the company is a huge plus. So if you know anybody at the company, be sure to ask them for a reference, and sometimes they even get paid to refer you. It's a great resource to get your name out there, have your resume looked at by thousands of recruiters across the country versus applying to individual companies. You know how long that takes.
Yeah.
So kind of do a combination of both. But really important, the social media, the LinkedIns of the world.
Exactly. And walking into a workplace or a company and doing a paper application and introducing yourself is still something that you can do. However, this is another bit of, oomph that can get you the job a lot faster and just from different channels. Having a LinkedIn, having a Career Builder profile is only important if you really put the work into it and make sure that it is professional. So no selfies. Have a friend maybe take a picture of you in some daylight or just really good indoor lighting. Also make sure that there are no misspellings or run-on sentences and things like that. Get straight to the point and just have it look very professional.
Third tip is to be realistic and have a plan B job. We don't always get to find the dream job.
I'm definitely not in my dream job right now.
Ain't that the truth? That being said, you make the most of what you can with what you have, and try to make sure everything's positive. But it's a really good idea especially if you're having to pay bills, to have kind of a backup job or a part-time job, something to generate money for you on the side while you're really searching for your career.
Yeah, and it also gets you work experience. So why sit around for 5 years in your mom's basement like, oh, well, I'm waiting to be a full-time photographer. I'm waiting to be, well, why not have a job on the side? Why not be an apprentice? Work at a burger joint just to maybe put money away to the side so you can open your own photography business. But it's never good to sit idle waiting on a dream. I want to say what, probably 1% of people who are in college jump into their ultimate dream career right out of college. It's not very common anymore. Everyone is doing like a restaurant job or something on the side to make ends meet.
Yeah. I think a lot of employers, and if I was an employer, I would look for work experience over education any day of the week. Mm-hmm. Both is great, but there's a lot of things that I learned in the real world that I didn't pick up in college so much. Yeah. So, just a little tidbit.
Nowadays, what I've noticed, a lot of companies want you to have at least your bachelor's degree in just general studies. So you definitely want to get at least there. And if you haven't, then be ready to apply for maybe those retail jobs or those not so fun jobs until you're able to finish off your degree. That is where I am. It's perfectly fine. You will get there eventually. Just be realistic.
Totally. And it also goes without saying that you may not be a type of person that really is good at working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So, finding a passion and monetizing it is probably a whole different video, but, I just thought when we are talking about college, a lot of people, it's not the best route for them, and they start a business and they're very successful, so.
Yeah, get a trade.
Yeah. All right, next up is probably equal importance. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be really easy to do.
Yeah.
Really easy to do.
You're going to hear a lot of no's. So if you're not good with rejection, now is the time to build that thick skin because it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And you're going to wonder, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? If it does come down to those scenarios and you really want to know why, it's never a bad idea to ask for some feedback. They sent you an email saying, we're sorry, you weren't the right candidate, then just shoot one back, thank them for the opportunity, number one, and then secondly, just ask for some feedback. So maybe you can take that onto your next application or maybe reapply to that company in maybe next 3 months or 6 months.
I can't stress the importance of thanking them for their time and everything, because most people don't do that. Again, you want to stand out, right?
Yeah. Because you never know.
Send them an email, send them a nice note. It may not get you in the door this time, but who knows? 6 months, a year down the road, you guys might cross paths again, and people like that kind of stuff. So
exactly,
do it.
The next tip, which is also very, very important, but it's always done so wrong, is if you get into that interview, your resume gets you through that first level. Wear the right attire. And it really depends on the company. Now, I will say from experience, there are pretty much 2 levels. And the first level is laid back company, modern atmosphere, maybe a small startup. With that, it's more business casual. Maybe you can get away with the khakis or the chinos or a cute dress with a blazer over it. And then you have the corporate companies like the banks and the law firms, and that doesn't fly there. You need to be in a suit and tie or maybe a nice dress shirt and slacks. And for females, you want to be maybe in a 2-piece suit or a very sophisticated dress with a high neckline.
Yeah.
So those things are very important. If you get stuck on things like that, there are a lot of resources online. But if you guys want to see a video,
we could do one.
We could do one for you guys, but let us know.
If you're not sure what the dress code is at that company, look, you haven't been there before and you don't necessarily know the dress code.
Yeah.
Ask the person that's calling you to come in for an interview.
Yes.
That's a common question that people do not ask.
And they won't look at you differently for asking that.
Is proper attire a suit, or is it a little bit more of a laid-back environment? Yeah. Next, you got to remember, this is a numbers game.
Numbers.
Everything in life is a numbers game.
This is true.
Everything. So,
you know what it makes me think of? Plenty of Fish or Tinder. You don't go and find one person and say, well, this is the only person, let me latch on. You try to find several matches and get to know them to see which one is right. It's the same thing with jobs.
Totally. You're going to go on a lot of interviews. You may be told no by companies that you want to work for.
Yeah.
You may go into companies and be like, this is not what I expected. What am I doing here? it's not as easy and it's not as perfect as I think a lot of maybe TV shows and things make it seem. You're probably not going to get in the first interview and wow them so much that you're offered a job.
Yeah, you got to find the right match.
I went through a lot of companies.
He did a lot of interviews.
And that's kind of what it takes, because if you don't do that, you'll find a job, but you'll hate your job.
Yeah. So don't take the easy way out necessarily, but just know that the more applications you're putting out there in the world, the more of these social media engines or search engines that you're on, all of this matters because it's more hits that you can get. It's more visibility.
I think the urgency started popping up towards the end.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started hustling to find a job. And sure enough, action is going to get you the results that you need. So if you haven't found a job yet, it's coming. Keep grinding. Keep grinding. Treat finding a job as your full-time job for the time being.
Yeah,
it will
especially
come to
if you don't have a job.
It will come to you.
Like, you better not be on Tumblr. You better not be chilling on the couch. You should be spending a solid 8 hours either walking around finding a job and turning in paper applications, going to make face-to-face interactions with companies that you want to work for, or just filling them out online. It could be any of those things, but definitely not sitting around.
Leverage your referrals.
Yes. We all know cool people that work for cool companies, so maybe it's just dropping in their ear, going to networking events, and just talking about it. There's nothing wrong with saying, like, yeah, I'm looking for a new job, or yeah, I'm looking for a new company, because they'll hold on to that. And you'd be surprised how many people contacted Dustin, like, hey, I knew you were moving to New York. I know someone that works for this company in New York. So it's just planting the seed, letting it nurture.
The last tip,
which is the most important,
is your resume. We saved it till last, but it probably should have been first, right?
Yeah. But we knew this would be the meatiest part of the video, so this is where you want to take notes. Pull out your pen and paper.
Yeah. So first of all, you're going to start out with a cover letter. A cover letter is just an introduction to you and why you're a good fit for the company you're applying for. Not every company requires a cover letter, but it's really good to have one handy. My tip to you is don't have a generic cover letter unless it's going on like a website or something. But if you're applying for a specific job, that cover letter needs to be very specific to that company, to that job, and it really needs to tell a story, something that's going to engage the reader to want to flip the page and look at the resume.
Yeah. So now let's do a quick example. I will do a bad example of a starting sentence on a cover letter, and he'll do a good one. So here is a bad one. Hi, my name is Sheena. Bad.
Bad. That was really bad.
And now Dustin will do a great example to start a cover letter.
I couldn't believe that I saw this job posted on your website. I'm pinching myself.
Pretty good.
It's not the norm. You want to stand out. You want to differentiate yourself from everybody else. They're going to have a stack of this many resumes and cover letters. So you got to be quick. Grab attention. Be different. And
although you do want to grab attention and be creative, keep it professional when it comes to the fonts, the font color, and things like that. No crazy PNGs on the side. No blue font. No Comic Sans. Like, can't you with Comic Sans? No Comic Sans. Just keep it on Times New Roman, Arial, maybe 12-point font.
There's some good ones. You may have to go through a few to find one that looks perfect.
But don't overdo it.
Yeah, and then page 2 is your resume. Some tips on the resume. Personally, I feel like a resume should be one page. No matter how great you are, no matter how many certifications you have. It goes back to being concise with your words and respecting the other person's time that may be reading your resume. So keep everything relevant to one page, only the highlights.
Yes. Now, let's say you've never done a resume. The basic layout is putting an objective or goal at the top of the resume of what you want out of this company, what you're expecting, and then you kind of want to lay out your work experience, your education, and if you have space at the bottom, you can choose to do hobbies or maybe references.
And the standards have been changed. There's really no right or wrong way to do, well, there are a lot of wrong ways to do a resume. There's really no right way to do a resume. But even the objective, I learned recently that that's kind of becoming a thing of the past. People know what your objective is. It's to get a job at that company. So really just starting out with your accomplishments, what you're applying for, and go from there.
Yeah. You also want to make sure it's up to date. So if you've had many jobs, like I've had a handful of jobs myself, you don't want to include every single position you've ever had. So if you were an ice cream scooper when you were 15, you don't necessarily need to put that if you're applying for maybe a job at a newspaper company or to be a lawyer. That's not necessarily needed. So just know to sift out the ones that really matter and only include the ones that speak to your abilities applying into this company.
Yep. Again, I can't stress the impact that the resume has when it's written well and when it's written poorly.
Yeah.
You want to definitely take the time to have other people read your resume, people that know what they're talking about, know that start out with somebody that has a job, that has actually successfully finished the search. There's no such thing as having too many people look at your resume and critique it. Be open to feedback, be open to changes. You want to be concise, and you really want to use your words wisely.
Exactly. I know that as being a manager at a company before and getting resumes that were misspelled and just missing entire words, I would honestly flip it over and move to the next one, because the way that I see it is they didn't put enough energy into proofreading and making sure that it sounded cohesive, so why should I hire this person? And it's sad because it could have been a small mistake and they're probably a great candidate, but all I'm seeing is that paper. I'm not seeing them. I can't have them explain why they're missing an entire word. So make sure it is proofread a million times.
Your resume needs to be perfect.
Yeah. I mean...
So don't underestimate the value of a resume.
Yeah. Look it over a million times and have someone else look it over for you.
Yep. Hopefully you found these tips helpful.
Going on the job hunt can be really difficult, so if you guys have any additional questions that maybe we didn't cover in this video, be sure to post them below. We'd be more than happy to help out with your specific scenarios.
Yeah, and then just keep in mind when you get to the interview, it's all on you. Do your best. That's all you can do, but you're going to learn the hard way. You're going to bomb a few interviews. That's just how it is. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep going. We
wish you guys the best of luck. Thanks for tuning in to another video with us. We love you guys so much. We noticed that we hit over 2,400 subscribers, which is amazing.
Isn't it?
For most people, that's not much, but to us, it means a lot.
It's a lot.
So thank you so much for all the support. Don't forget to share this video with the ones that you care about, and we'll see you in the next one.
Later. You know how that should go.
You know how that should go.
Running through the 6
with my... Whoa. Okay.